We come together in the midst of Military Appreciation Month to pay tribute to a great American, New Jerseyan, and Korean War hero, Private First Class Henry Sabella. Last December, I, along with Senator Booker in the Senate and Congressman Sears and Pasquale in the House, successfully passed legislation to establish the Private Henry Sabella Post Office building. And I'm honored to see it become a reality today, especially in the company of his nephew Anthony and the other members of his family who are here. Their presence reminds us that behind every soldier that we send off to war is a military family who loves them dearly. In 2011, thanks largely to the efforts of Henry's brother John, nephew Anthony, and Congressman Pasquale, many Americans learned about Henry's heroism when President Obama posthumously awarded him the Medal of Honor. His story is worth repeating today. Here in Belleville, Henry Sabella grew up the son of 6 children. He was a loving son and brother and loved spending his free time fishing at the Jersey Shore. He grew up learning about the Americans who defended our nation and defeated oppression in Europe during the First and Second World Wars. And once the United States went to war in Korea at 19, he joined to serve the cause of freedom. A member of the 7th Infantry Division, Henry and his company fought a relentless enemy in unrelenting conditions. They braved bullets and bombs, mosquitoes and monsoons, stifling heat and rocky slopes. But Private First Class Henry Sabella pushed on, and when his unit came under siege by enemy fire, his fellow soldiers witnessed the scope of his bravery. Henry ran towards a barrage of bullets. He shrugged off the shrapnel that hit his face, and he continued to fire his weapon as his platoon followed. It was then that an enemy grenade landed at their feet, and Henry did the unthinkable. In a split second, he threw himself on that grenade, sparing the lives of his brothers in arms. As President Obama said, every human instinct, every impulse would tell a person to turn away. But at that critical moment, Henry Sabella did the opposite. Now, some misguidedly call the Korean War the forgotten war, but I think what Private First Class Henry Sabella did is pretty unforgettable. More than 5 decades later, we continue to benefit from the courage and sacrifice of those who served in this conflict. They saved South Korea from a tragic fate. They helped set the stage for the Korean people to build a lasting democracy. And today, South Korea is one of the world's most innovative economies and one of the United States' greatest trading and security partners. I was deeply moved when I went there a few years ago as the chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee. Went up to the demilitarized zone and saw the division between North and South Korea, 2 different worlds. One that is fueled by democracy, human rights, and respect of law, the other one that is not. As honored as we are here today, to have this post office bear Private Sabella's name, we cannot forget that his remains were never returned to the United States, and that his family has never been able to put him to rest. So Susan, Anthony, Michelle, and Michael, our nation owes your family a debt that cannot be repaid. But I want you to know that Henry's service and sacrifice will never be forgotten. Every time people walk through the doors of the Private Henry Sabella Post Office building, they will walk through a living monument to a great American who grew up right here in Belleville and believed in our greatest values. A young man who went to war so that others might be free, and in the midst of battle, gave his own life so that others might live. May God bless this great country and the life of Henry Sabella.
Here? All right, because the unveiling. Go ahead.
2, 3. Oh,